What a Friday night. Um, as you know, we're kind of knee deep in October baseball right now with the uh, American League Championship Series and the National League Championship Series happening concurrently. Well, the Dodgers swept the Brewers to advance to the World Series tonight. But before we get come back to that point, I want to just uh, the game of the night was. I know maybe not for most of you baseball fans. Hey, what's up, Vinny? How you doing, man? Hope you watched that the two baseball games tonight. It was a crazy night of Friday night baseball, but um, yeah, the Mariners got things started kind of in a must-win situation, playing their last home game in this series. And they took, mind you, the Mariners took the first two games in Toronto with really solid pitching, uh, good offense. And then they come home, and the Blue Jays just pushed back. I mean, they went off for 13 runs in game three, really took advantage of um, all of our relief pitchers, our starters, and then they came out yesterday and handed us a really embarrassing loss. I felt like they pulled Castillo out too early, but then they got to our bullpen and they just, again, it was another sort of blowout win yesterday. So today, going into the game, there was a lot of. You're a Cubs fan? Sorry, man. Yeah. Um, well, I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, I think I was hoping to see the Cubs actually play the Dodgers. I think that would have been a um, I don't know if the Cubs could have taken the Dodgers though. I mean, it's just one of those. The Dodgers right now just look like a Goliath. But anyway, we're getting back to that. Um, so the Mariners game, yeah, kind of felt like a must-win tonight. We had Bryce Miller on the mound. He pitched pretty great, but then he got into a little trouble. Went to the bullpen a little early, and then they brought out Brian Wu, who has been our best pitcher, and he's been dealing with a pectoral injury, but he came in, pitched really well for just coming into the series like without any build-up of innings or anything. I know he was doing simulated games and all that, but he hadn't really made an appearance. And now here he was in a really, you know, kind of dire 1-1 tie situation to come in and get outs. And for the most part, he did. He did give up a run, he gave up the lead. So, the Brewers took the lead 2-1. And then I think it was the sixth inning or seventh inning. Oh man, the Mariners offense just boom. Cal Raleigh got us back in with a home run. Bases loaded. Eugenio Suarez, we call him Gino around here. He hit a Gino salami. Shout out to the late great Dave Niehaus. Grandma, get out the rye bread and mustard. It's grand salami time. I mean, that was just a postseason moment that Mariner fans will never forget. And man, is it an exciting time to be a Seattle Mariners fan right now. But on the flip side, so we haven't advanced yet, but tonight was a must win. Now we've only got one win to go to advance to the World Series. And man, when and if we do, this will be the first time the Mariners have gone to the World Series. We're the only team in Major League Baseball to never have won a World Series. And so, it will mean a lot to the city. It'll mean a lot to me personally because I've been a Mariners fan since I was a little kid. And we've just never, I mean, 1995, we got close. We've had good teams. We've been to the ALCS a couple times, but never have we uh, gotten to the pinnacle of that game. And again, this city's just ready to erupt. Uh, there's just been this electric feeling throughout the community here. The games have been electric. Uh, we really have to bring this championship home. There's just no other. I mean, you know, it just feels like it's now or never because a lot of the guys on our team, they're playing on 1 year contracts. They're playing in a free agency year. It's just going to be, it'll be more difficult to bring guys back, justify salaries and all that if um, we fall short. So it's just one of those situations like I'm sure the team, from an operational standpoint, from a profit standpoint, the team understands, man, if we don't get to the World Series, at least get to, I mean, it's one thing to lose to the Dodgers, I think, but to not get to the World Series is another big, just disappoint. It'll be a disappointing season. Um, I know a lot of fans are saying, like, no matter what happens, it looks like we've got competitive baseball back in Seattle. But no, no. If you really know what the player situation is here, it's tenuous at best. And I mean, I don't know if an ALCS appearance is going to necessarily change things. A World Series appearance would, though, because it's just kind of like it's never, we've never seen that uh, in our history. So just to have gotten to that point, it will be something to build upon, and it'll definitely be a season to remember. So lots going on there. Thanks, man. Cheese man, how you doing? We got Andre KC2 in the house. What's up? Got Fries in the house. How you doing? Kevin Ayot. Hello to you, sir. Um, so that was the AL side of things, and again, we just need to take one of two in Toronto. I'm hoping we do it sooner than later. The Mariners. I'm rooting for the Mariners. Now, okay, mind you, I have last season I rooted for the Dodgers, and I gotta say, I lived in Japan for 3 years. My wife's Japanese. She's a huge Otani fan, and yeah, we rooted for ever since I was there watching him play for the um, Nippon Ham Fighters there. He was a two-way star in Japan when I was living there. And then when I came here, he kind of followed and joined the Angels. Mariners had a chance to sign him. They didn't. They didn't want to spend $2 million on the best Japanese prospect to have ever played. But anyway, we had two opportunities. One, when he became a free agent, too. I think they had discussions, but the Mariners just didn't have $700 million to spend. So we lost two opportunities to bring Otani here, which is a shame. But he probably went to the franchise that made the most sense for what he wanted to do, and that is win championships. So last year, during that run, the Mariners weren't even contenders. So we kind of rooted for the Dodgers, and they won, and it was an exciting run. But this season is different with the Mariners there. Now the Dodgers are in, and we face the prospect of meeting them in the World Series, and it's David and Goliath. I mean, I'll as a Mariner fan, I'm not gonna, you know, I can be positive and kind of just say, you never know what's going to happen. You got to play the game. Anybody can win, kind of situation. But and not to say I don't think the Mariners can't win. I do believe we have a good chance, but um, it'll be a very uphill climb to beat the Dodgers. But we got to get past Toronto first. So it's tough. Um, yeah, Dodgers. It's tough not to like the Dodgers because they've got just a great uh, group of players. Um, you know, they're just a great organization, and again, there's a lot of hate around the Dodgers too. I get it, but you can't hate on Shohei. And tonight, what Shohei Otani did tonight, he put on the single greatest performance in postseason baseball history, hands down, without it. I mean, I've been watching baseball all my life. I've watched all the highlights. I mean, you can go back to like, you know, uh, Larson's perfect game. You could go back to like Pete Rose, right? And the Big Red Machine. Some of the performances he put out there. Koufax, right? Going out and winning Game 7, complete game. I think it was a no hit. It was a one hit or no hitter, right? Or was it? It was a perfect game, right? Um, a lot of great performances throughout history, but this one just is hands above the rest, significant because that first inning, he comes in, he walks a batter, and then strikes out the side, 3 strikeouts, and then comes up to bat in the bottom of the inning, hits a home run. And just that little slice would have been like the greatest inning ever in baseball. But no, he continued to dominate for 6 innings, 10 strikeouts. 10 strikeouts in 6 innings, okay? Um, 6 innings, if he struck out every batter, that's 18 strikeouts, mind you, in 6 innings. He was 8 short of being perfect. Um, so 10 strikeouts, didn't give up a run, had a couple walks, but again, he got to a 100 pitch count. They pulled him out, and the bullpen gave up a run after that. But pretty much on the pitching side, he was solid. So he hits 1 home run. He hits 2 home runs. And then just when you think, no, he's not going to hit 3, he hits 3 home runs in one game on top of the, just ace starting pitching performance. And he's got the entire planet abuzz right now with that performance. I think even if you don't watch baseball, um, you're going to come to appreciate that performance because you understand home runs, right? When you hear somebody hit a home run, you're like, wow. When you hear someone hit 3 home runs in a game, you're like, whoa. But then when you understand, like, oh no, he was pitching too and struck out 10 batters, it becomes like a video game at that point. It was like we were watching a video game. Like, when you put set the offensive numbers to like max, and you're playing on like intermediate league mode or something, and you just create a player, and that player you just hitting every at bat as a home run, and then you're also pitching and all that, and it's just literally like that kind of video game setting. It felt like um, he's just superhuman. Um, There's some Russian going on here. All right. What's up, dudes? Good. Relatives in Japan. That's nice. Yeah. Um, Again, I've got a bunch of friends in Japan, and we were just chatting. Like, after two home runs, we were just like, what are we seeing? And then we were just like chatting, and then boom, he hits a third home run. Like, I literally like texted, like, WTF? Like, what the F are we seeing right now? It just was one of those crazy, crazy, once in a lifetime, once in a generational type base. I mean, I thought we saw it all last season. He dislocates his shoulder, comes back, Dodgers still win. He wasn't pitching last season, but man, he's coming off a 50-50, 50 home run, 50 steal season, making clutch hits, hitting clutch home runs last season. Really helped secure that World Series. He didn't win the NL, the World Series MVP. Freddie Freeman won it, and deservedly so. Um, but yeah, Shohei was injured throughout most of that series and didn't contribute much, but had helped them to get to the World Series. And then the team took over. Well, tonight, the kind of opposite. Like, he hadn't been performing at all, and then boom, last game, opportunity sweep, and win the the National League championship, um, in grand fashion. Man, did he show up, and it was a ridiculous performance. It was just ridiculous, and again, hopefully it's going to be a Mariners Dodgers series, and it will be no, like, I will have no, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? There will not be any conflicts of interest. It's Mariners all the way. F the Dodgers. It's Mariners Dodgers, it's Mariners all the way. Dodgers become the enemy, and it Otani. We're just gonna put every vexing curse and hex on him, um, and the entire Dodgers team, and just go Mariners. So yes, always been a lifelong Mariner fan. That will never change. They are my team, and so this is just a really. It's been I've Mariners will take you on a roller coaster of emotions, and it's been very frustrating as a Mariners fan, uh, over just the past, I want to say 20 seasons, 25 seasons, I want to say. Very frustrating ride. Um, and even with this general management, like, uh, I didn't like Jerry DePoto. I hated Scott Service. Those two clowns were just like, they weren't really creating a competitive atmosphere for baseball for a long time. But again, with as much as criticism and hate as I've given to DePoto, uh, he did help build that pitching staff, and he did sign Kyle Raleigh to a long-term deal this past season, and so we've got the foundations of uh, a baseball future in Seattle. Um, Albeit there's a lot of sort of tenuous contracts coming up at the end of the season. Um, I don't know if we'll be able to keep this core of players, but again, if we win the World Series, or if we even get to the World Series, it makes keeping as much of this team intact as possible a priority. Um, Again, if we don't make it to the World Series, I think it's a harder thing for both the players and the management to kind of sign off on. So we'll see what happens. What's up, fanboy? Man, did you see that Dodgers game tonight? Just unreal. I've been watching baseball a long time, and just to see what Otani did tonight was just crazy. Like, I should have been more excited about the Mariners winning tonight, and I was. But watching that Dodgers game, I was just like, what the F am I seeing today? And a bunch of my friends in Asia, they're big Dodgers fans because I have a couple Korean American friends, grew up in LA. And I have, of course, my Japanese friends are all about Otani. You know, they just think he's a god over there. And yeah, we're chatting, and mind you, like after he hit his second home run, I was just like shaking my head, like 76, like what are we watching here? And as we're like texting and just in complete like disbelief of what we're watching this dude do, he gets up and hits a third home run. We're just like that was just like the mind blown, like our minds just, we couldn't like fathom what had just happened at that point. I'm just like, is this a like a replay? What's going on? Like it just blew our minds, blew our minds, what we were experiencing and watching. I'm still kind of like dumbfounded by the performance tonight. I mean, 6 innings he gave up. The 6 shutout innings, he gave up what? 1 hit, 3 walks, 10 punch outs, 10 strikeouts. Um, I mean, that would be like, the Dodgers pitching has been lights out, but I mean, that's like as good of starting pitching performance as we've seen this series. And then he goes and just helps himself out with three bombs. One that actually like went out of the stadium into the parking lot. Like he hit it out of the stadium on his second home run. Um, it was otherworldly. It was Superman ish. So we're gonna look at some Shohei Otani books here from the summer of Shohei Otani. I mean, who it like literally like Otani could just put on the suit and it would be like, it would literally be the story of Superman. This uh, visitor from another world, another country, in Otani's instance, right, comes here and just dominates, just dominates his competition. It's just like, it's literally a comic book proportion of what this guy can do, right? I think it's just the greatest post-season performance. I mean, you put all the World Series. There's been a lot of great World Series performances. Like complete games, kind of no hitters, and um, you've seen guys like hit multi-home run games. Jackson had 3 home runs. They called him Mr. October, but to culminate pitching dominance and that kind of offensive dominance. If this had been a World Series game, it would have just like, it would have it would have broke some kind of like sports algorithm. I'm sure it would have just like, you know, I think people would have just been like, why are we even playing the game when this dude is on? Um, it just would have been more epic. But who knows? We may see something as epic in the World Series because he's still pitching and he's still hitting, and there's nothing that says that he can't put up another performance like this. So it's just going to be like must watch, must see TV for the next 2 weeks. But my Mariners, I'm going to call it here. Mariners are going to go to the World Series. They're going to take the Dodgers. They're going to take the Dodgers to Game 7 and pull off an upset. Um, that's a bold prediction, but someone's got to make it, and I just did. All right. Um, all right. Well, so we got some books to show off, and we've been kind of building up. Picked up a lot of books this summer, and we've shown off. Um, just to kind of go through, we showed off the non DC books, then the non Superman DC books, and then we started showing off some of the Superman books and gradually building, like showing off Superman family books first, then World's Finest books, DC Presents books. And I think last week we got into like the not the main Superman runs, but the sort of the one-offs, the miniseries, um, you know, uh, some of the Volume 2 Superman stuff that we picked up, um, things of that nature we've shown off. And I think we showed off Supergirl books too, I want to say. Yeah, I think we showed off the Supergirl books. Maybe not. I'll have to go check my videos, but I think, yeah, no, we showed off the Super books during the Superman family. Yeah, so for the Superman family, we included the Supergirl books. So yeah, I mean, we're literally down now to Superman Volume 1 books. There are going to be a couple Superman Volume 2 books mixed in here. In fact, we'll probably start with those. And then we'll go through all the Superman Volume 1 books that we picked up this summer, minus sort of the big books. So the big books we're going to save later. A lot of the Silver Age stuff we're going to save. But we just start here with the Bronze Age, so we're just going to go Bronze Age and back. So I think I'll save we'll just go oldest to newest. So hope you guys are, all right, fanboy, what do you, yeah, graded over Jays in 6 or 7. I'm open 6. I think if we get to Game 7, it's, yeah, I want to say the Mariners are just going to come out. It's going to be a great game, irregardless, because we're in a situation where Seattle was kind of playing with a lead, and then Blue Jays just balled out games 3 and 4, and then the Mariners were suddenly in this sort of like do or die kind of situation, and they came out, and it was just like a real battle tonight, and we just happened to, uh, in those situations, we played better and played to the moment. So I think going into Toronto, our guys understand, hey, look, we have an opportunity to close it out. And their backs are up against the wall. It's a must win for them. And so we need to really just come out and play like it's our last game, too. I don't think we can take a kind of lackadaisical attitude toward Game 6. We really need to approach it like it's a must win as well, because then we'll match that kind of intensity and energy. And again, it's just been some really good baseball between the Jays and the M's, and it could go 7, but I'm hoping we really come out and just have a dominant performance. I think our pitching ultimately has to be. We have to keep the Jays hitters guessing. We weren't keeping them guessing. Before tonight, the previous 2 games in Seattle were pretty miserable from pitching strategic standpoint, from a pitching standpoint, right? It's like I don't think the game plan was like kind of like what they normally do all seasons, just like let's pound the zone, get her, with strikes, get ahead of the count. But man, that was not working, and so they kind of dialed that back, and I think they're just being a little bit more hitter, looking at where the hitter's weaknesses are and pitching to the weakness first, and not being so aggressive, but trying to find their spots, making good. But you got to make good pitches in October. If you just come in like the fact like, hey, I'm gonna throw fast and try to hit it, maybe get you to foul a pitch off, or like if you come in with a strategy like without a strategy, which is kind of what the Mariners it looked like games 3 and 4. Um, good hitting teams are gonna just abuse you, and so yeah, um, should be a good matchup. You were gonna top 10 crypto covers, man. Nice. Oh man, you got 10 crypto covers to do. That's pretty cool. I'd love to do. I don't think I have 10 crypto covers, but I'd love to do something similar. Um, yeah. All right, let's get to the books. So we're just gonna go. I have them kind of in order, and I'll check. So for the most part, a lot of these books we picked up out of the 25-cent bin. And if they're not from the 25-cent bin, they'll be from the dollar bin. So it's anywhere from 25 cents to $1 what we paid for these books. And if we paid more than that, I will let you know. But this is, I think, from the quarter bin, I'm pretty sure. We've got this sort of like elongated Superman Nick Cardy cover here. Bronze Age, goodness. What is this? Superman 274. Can't go wrong with that. Reader, help me. I can't hang on much longer. Save me from being pulled through the earth, or you will be next. Full-length super novel, Protectors of Earth Incorporated. So there you go. This was also from the quarter bins. A lot of issues, this is definitely a low-grade book, but I just love books like this, especially where you have Superman and Batgirl together. But another Nick Cardy cover. You got this great sequence where she's falling from a skyscraper, and you've got the cars in the city below. It's just street level view of the city. That's just really cool. Yeah, beautifully illustrated by Cardi right there. And you get some Batgirl butt action right there. Batgirl. There you go. What number was it? Superman 279. There you go. What up, Tyler? How you doing, man? Long time no see. Yes. Batgirl. I think I want more Batgirl. I just want to get as many Batgirl. Like she didn't have her own. Well, I think she did have her own title down the road, but I just need more of her in like my collection. Because she has one of the most interesting story arcs. She's Commissioner Gordon's daughter, right? And like, how crazy is that? Like, she's a police commissioner's daughter, but just decides to like become like Batman. Like, I'm gonna just dress up like Batman and help Batman and be kind of like the behind the scenes Batman, but I'm a girl. Um, and then of course, fast forward, she's just kind of this sort of like she's like the more genteel Batman. You know, she's doing things um, in a feminine kind of like helpful way. Not that she's like um, doing anything significant on her own. She's working with the Bat family and all that to like help Batman and Robin and all that. But yeah, her again. You know, along comes along comes Alan Moore and Brian Bolland, and they put out a one shot called The Killing Joke. And in that book, the Joker essentially like kidnaps Barbara and then tortures her and then um, pretty much maims her. He shoots her through the gut and it ends up paralyzing her. So she's this like paraplegic moving forward, and she um, continues to help Batman, but in a new role as sort of this like behind the scenes, you know, what is her name, like Oracle or whatever. They turn her into this sort of like behind the scenes um, tech wizard or whatever, using technology and all this to help kind of the administrative stuff for criminal investigations and you know, when Batman has to infiltrate somewhere, she's kind of the the eyes and ears. Um, but yeah, I mean that again, this just a crazy story arc that went from Batgirl to like paralyzed, like behind the scenes. You know, I don't even know what you would call a person like that. Just like the there is a word for it, I'm sure, but it's like the person like back at headquarters just on their computer and you know um, kind of in your ear on the mission, right, kind of thing. So yeah, Barbara's Oracle, that's right. um Cassandra Cain is my Batgirl. All right, yeah, like Batgirl is she's alive and well. uh they changed her character a lot. Cassandra Cain is the one that is like she has the like the Prince, like the Purple Rain motorbike, right? Or maybe that was always the design of the Batgirl cycle. But yeah, the Batgirl in the '60s, the television series, Adam West series, like she rode around this like ridiculous motorbike, the Batgirl bike, I guess. But somehow that's still like part of her MO, I guess. She rides the bat cycle, whatever. All right, moving on. We got Superman 282. This also is more Nick Cardy. Um, Gotta love these Nick Cardy covers. They're just they're just fun. And this guy's saying Superman's gone mad. Instead of resting me, he's killing me. That's right. Superman will kill your ass if you're not careful. Um, we got Superman 291. Can you guess how much This man can pack a punch mightier than Superman. And the dude is just wearing the worst kind of suit, like a yellow check kind of suit. I guess that was a fashion back in the 70s. Um, this is not Nick Cardy. This is, I think, Dick Giordano, if I'm not mistaken. The Dick Giordano cover. Not the best cover. Um, it's just kind of one of those, just like, I'm sure this didn't sell a lot of copies. It just kind of looked like one of those, you went to the newsstand, or, you went to uh, comic book, the comic book stand, and if this book was there, you'd just be like, oh man, is this going to be good this month? I don't know. Just one of those kinds of covers that doesn't scream buy me or read me. But yeah, I think it's a Dick Giordano cover here on 291. It's kind of cool. You could check out Brave and the Bold 2007. Okay, 33. Great Wonder Woman's Zatanna, Batgirl Barbara. Okay, I'll check out. So yeah, all these like more recent comics. It's been tough to. Although I have been reading more books. What did I just finish? I just finished The World's Finest, the Maura Wade run, um, which is, I think, just the last couple years or so, where it's Mitzelpiddelk and Batmite. It's that whole sequence where uh, some character or antagonist from like the sixth dimension or something comes, and then they're pitting all these like Batmite paired villains against some of the superheroes just to see who's the strongest superhero, and it ends up being like Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen gets like powers, and Jimmy Olsen ends up kind of being the champion, and then this powerful imp like creature comes to fight Jimmy, and it ends up being like Batman and Superman, of course, to save the day, and they kind of outsmart the guy and end up sucking him, and or no, Batmite saves the day. Yeah, Batmite saves the day, but they end up tricking the all powerful amp back to his dimension, and all is right again. And I enjoyed that one. That was just a fun one. Again, the art, the story was good. The art was good. They incorporate a lot of the cool DC characters that you like to see. So it was one of these sort of like, it felt epic in the sense that it was like a big battle. They're bringing all these characters. There were multiple things going on, um, along with the main story, which was kind of cool to see. That was good. And then we also read the Superwoman arc. And now this is something I'm really, because this bleeds into what is currently happening in Superman and Action Comics, I believe. And it's this, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't read anything after this. I really read, and I haven't read anything before it. Where I really started off was, okay, Lois inherits this Superman's powers of invulnerability, strength. She's basically Superman, but in her Lois form, and she's kind of getting acclimated to the power, and then all of a sudden, uh, Doomsday shows up, dude, like a emaciated Doomsday shows up and says, like, dude, you got to help me. Um, you have to. There's an entity coming. You have to destroy this entity. Otherwise, they're gonna bring the destruction of Earth. You're gonna lose everybody you love. And I saw it in the future. Like he's basically telling them this is their future unless you help me to eradicate this these race of beings. Now these race of beings had it was kind of like a genocide of their world previously by Doomsday, because Doomsday was basically this genetically engineered weapon to just destroy planets, right? Just come in as a predator or whatever and just destroy everything in its path, and he would just destroy worlds. But apparently, okay, so one of these worlds uh, is after this sort of present day form of Doomsday, which is the wild kind of creature that we're used to seeing from the Death of Superman arc. And but anyway, the Justice League subdues him, or I'm sorry, the Superman family, Justice League kind of combination subdues him. They capture him. They have him in captivity, and then this alien race shows up, and they're super powerful, right? But they bring this whole armada of like you know super beings, and they're saying like, look, just give him to us, and we'll be out of your hair. We'll be on our way. And of course, Superman's like, no, you're not doing that. And so battle unfolds, and then it becomes this whole issue like, okay, you know, are we doing the right thing, right? But are we putting too much at risk by standing by our convictions and not giving Doomsday, who's really just like this bad guy, to this force? And yeah, there's a little bit of like mistrust there, but the heroes stand their ground, defend, not to give their choice not to give Doomsday up. Um, but then they're sucked into um, the whole armada is sucked into like miniaturized. Basically, it's the same kind of technology that created Candor. So it took all these ships and alien races and then candorized them into like this bottled prison, right? So they have this armada that could wipe out the earth sitting there in this candor like temporary. I don't know if it's temporary, but as long as no one breaks it, I guess it's like a. And then this question of like who's telling the truth, right? Like, are they really risking the destruction of the earth by either one letting Doomsday potentially? We're talking about the present day Doomsday, not the one from the future with these like the what do you call it, the prophetic type powers, letting this thing run loose, or letting the alien race destroy us, trying to get to Doomsday, or is Doomsday the prophet playing us by creating these sort of like um, consequences of like you don't do this, then your world's gonna do. Is he telling the truth, or is he like goading us into making the wrong decisions? So there's all these like little things going on, and it's just really compelling. Again, Dan Mora artwork on this. Forget who wrote. I think it's Jeff Loeb. Yeah, Jeff Loeb is the. No, it's not Jeff Loeb. Who wrote the Superman arc? It's someone good. I don't remember the name of the writer is, but it's good. I gotta admit, like I read that, I'm like, all right, I might just have to continue reading this stuff because it's really good. I think it was Williamson. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it this is currently it's bled into the Summer of Superman. So I didn't read any of the Summer of Superman stuff, but I'm assuming it's like they're building towards something. Like it's just an interlude, and I don't know if Superwoman Lois still has her superpowers or not, but um, I am not disappointed with the way they frame that because they're not making it like Lois, you're gonna have these powers forever. It's they're putting in this her in this situation to where she's not, she's not the damsel in distress kind of thing. She's actually proactive in defending and helping and, um, you know, being Superman's partner in that sense. But also, you know, there's just all these like, um, kind of parallel storylines running along. Like, again, the Doomsday whole prophet type, uh, you know, storyline. Who, like, what's his true motive, right? The alien races that are coming here, and like, what's their motive in terms of like getting their hands on Doomsday? Is it truly to just like get revenge, or are they trying to like manipulate that weapon to use on other worlds or whatever? It's just there's just a lot of like uncertainty there, and I gotta say it was a good comic book read. Definitely had, um, you were kind of bought in as to like what was going to happen. So a little surprised there, and I'm jumping back into a couple of the comic books I've read, but kind of getting back into them. Um, One is the Superman Batman series, the Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness, and then later Michael Turner arcs. And I'm also getting back into some of the later, I want to say like issues like 30 to 50 of the Wonder Woman series by George Perez. So those are two books I'm kind of like reading. I also have some, older X-Men stuff. These are graphic novels I've checked out from the library. So we're just kind of slowly, I'm just kind of bored and trying to pick up more stuff from the library that I haven't read. But pretty much everything I've picked up. I did read some additional Action comic stuff. Um, I read the Action Comics. It was where Bizarro comes and he's like he's super powerful, and he basically like turns is turning the world into Bizarro world. Um, and so Superman's getting weaker, right? And then Superman has to turn and team up with the Joker of all people, because the Bizarro Joker is like normal apparently. You got all these like normal people kind of losing their minds, turning into Bizarro and having this Bizarro mindset, and then but it has the opposite effect on the Joker. The Joker, if you Bizarro Joker, apparently just like this guy who wants to help, and he's like not a psychopath. But anyway, it was like weird. I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't. It just felt too, you know, convenient to like create a story about Bizarro and then have the Joker pop up and kind of help Superman in the situation. Um, So yeah, I mean, I read that one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great either. It was just kind of like a read. Um, but yeah, I think anything where Dan Mora is doing the panels on a comic book, it's just a great comic book. I gotta say, um, as good as a writer can be, I think unless you have the right artist um, to help tell the story or help the narration or whatever kind of story you're trying to build, um, the art definitely goes a long way in doing that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Mora is like, and he just came out of nowhere. I just feel like he's been working in the industry for a while, but the fact that he just like comes to DC and just starts working on the big books there because he's so talented, but he just pops onto the scene and now he's just like hands down like the best in the industry these days. So I mean, kudos to him. Big fan of Dan Mora. I mean, Dan Mora is easily, and he could easily pop into my top 10. I mean, he's not there yet, but he does a couple more years of stuff like we're seeing in World's Finest and Superman, and I'm just like, I'm ready to give him the crown, like the goat crown right now. Like, I mean, he's definitely got a distinct style too. It's so distinctive, but man, can that guy draw? And coupled with all the advances they've made in the color, because like when you do color like this versus what they're doing, the digitized color now, the color palettes they're using in the comic books now, it's just night and day. The stuff they're doing now is so much higher quality from an artistic color standpoint. They're just using a broader palette of colors and they're blending them and they're working them to where they're like seamless, right? Um, here you're actually like having to color by hand the panels and stuff, but in these comic books, they're just like digitally colored, so it just looks, yeah, it's just seamless. Um, all right, but getting back to the list, sorry, I got sidetracked there. I'm gonna turn on my space heater because my feet are getting cold. So if you hear some noise, just know it's my space heater. Okay, so we've got Superman 292. Um, and I think this is Ernie Ernie Chan cover, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see a name on here anywhere, but I'm pretty sure it's like an Ernie Chan cover. If not, could be another. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Ernie Chan, but this is interesting because I think it's a reprint or a revisiting of the origin of Superboy and Lex. Um, as you know, Lex and Lex and Clark were classmates, um, and Lex looked up to Superboy and was like, uh, Lex was a good kid. Lex was a smart, the most brilliant kid at school, and he was like hell bent on like helping Superboy, kind of like on the back end, right? Like Superboy does all these great things. I'm gonna help him, develop technologies or things on my end to help him. And he's working on these like chemical experiments, and his house catches on fire. And Superboy comes in just to save the day, blows out the fire, and in doing so, the chemicals and the wind or whatever get on his hair and make his hair fall out. So now Lex is bald, and that's what turns him. He just hates Superman or Superboy. Someday I'll kill you for what you've done to me, Superboy, and he just takes that rage and hate into adulthood as the evil Lex Luthor. So, what causes a boy genius to become the world's greatest villain? Find out when you meet the Luthor nobody knows. And I know they presented this uh, version of Lex. I believe it comes in the Silver Age when they present this sort of history between the characters, right? That they knew each other in Smallville, that they were childhood friends, that the that Luthor was this like genius who becomes evil, right? So that's what we have here on this book, 292. I think I paid either $1 or a quarter for this one, so don't remember. Generally, the ones that are in like rougher shape are the ones I paid a quarter for, and the ones in a little bit of nicer shape are the ones I paid $1 for. I think maybe that one was $1, but we're now finally to the Bullet era logo, or sorry, Bullet logo era, with 316. This is a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez cover. It's Metallo, and it's just as classic as you're gonna get for a comic book. And this is in pretty decent shape, but I do believe I paid no, maybe I did pay $1 for this. I'm pretty sure I paid a quarter for it, but it's in nice condition, so maybe I did pay $1. I mean, this is a fine plus copy here. Pretty nice. Spine is actually really surprisingly nice. Not too much in terms of creasing on this one. Pretty nice for its pretty nice grade for even it. I think it was again. I'm thinking it was a quarter book, but even if we picked it up for a quarter or $1, that's still a good find there. This is just a nice cover and story, I'm sure. Metallo. All right. This is some Ross Andru goodness. Got a Ross Andru and Giordano cover. They turned the Superman into a steel statue there. And it's Jimmy and Lois there fighting some fearsome foe in the background there, or in they're in his shadow. It's kind of scary, I guess. All right, this one I paid a quarter for this one. Another Garcia Lopez masterpiece. This one where Dracula and Frankenstein are kind of have our hero here in peril. That's pretty cool. We've got Superman. What is this? 348. Andrew Goodness. Hear me, Storm God. I'm one foe you can't blow away. Your lightning can't sizzle me. I'm Superman. 348 there. And this one, this is a really nice copy. I want to say VF Plus, right around there. This also contains, apparently Todd McFarlane was constantly writing into DC just to get his letter published. I think what happened was he was a comic book fan at a very young age, and then he realized, you know what, if I write letters to the editor as a kid, they'll at least address, or you know, they they'll publish the letter and they'll address stuff, and I'll get to. I kind of have this like line of communication with the creators of the people, the characters I love, right? So he figured this out early on, and he just wrote a bunch of letters to DC. This is another book where he has a letter to the editor that they publish or address, but he has a letter here on the Superman book, and this is a great cover by Ross Andrew because it's like Supergirl and the costume we love. We got a little cleavage action here on the Supergirl costume there. Loving the. I don't know if you necessarily call this a headlights cover, but she's definitely like got the headlights there. And yeah, this is again a nice copy. We paid $1.50 for this because this was in the 50-cent off bins with a $3, 50% off bins with a $3 price tag. So $1.50 for really nice conditioned Key Superman book. So that was nice. That was a win. Picked this one up. So I already had a copy of this, but it's just one of my favorite covers. And again, I think we paid $1.50 for this one too. So I just figured, let's pick it up. We got the Care to Step Outside at Sunset cover here with the Alex Ross Superman. Oh, that's just brilliant. That's just brilliant right there. Yeah, hands down, I think. Hands down, one of the best Superman covers by Ross. I mean, Ross has a lot of Superman covers, but this one is just the pose, the colors, just everything works. This is Superman 675. All right, paid like $1.50 for this. Today, though, we're going to end with it's just weird how, like, this summer we got crypto. We got crypto in the movies. And it's just weird how sometimes things fall into your lap or you get lucky. So, as you know, Jeff from Ancient Comics, he had closed up his shop, kind of went abroad, and that was going to be it. He was going out of business. He was going to retire, and it was the end, right? And then we heard news that, in the grapevine of comic book people, there was this rumor that Jeff was back and that he was going to open up a shop again. And there was no timeline or anything, but I was just kind of like excited at that prospect, hearing that news. And this summer, lo and behold, I just kind of check to see if there's Ancient Comics is reopened, and it did. It reopened in a new location, and of course we went. And so Jeff has an incredible inventory of books that he doesn't keep in the shop. He kind of keeps it off-site. But what he does is he keeps a very, like a log of stuff he sells, because he has multiples of a lot of the books. So when he sells, for example, like this book, he'll make a note, Superman 675 sold, and you'll put another copy of the exact same comic book in his back issue bin, so that it's like, somebody will pick it up, but he'll have another copy in there for the next person, which is really brilliant. You should employ that, right? Because you want customers to think, oh, I'm getting the last copy haha, no, there's a lot of these. And so you just put in the next copy, and they're all great condition, right? It's not like um, he's having to skimp, give some people better copies than the other. He just has an inventory of nice copies. Well, we go in there looking for books, and lo and behold, we run into Superman 680. Now, I don't think Jeff got the memo that this is a key book now, because he had this priced at $2. um, what what that means is like he had this priced, I think like $4, which you then in the 50-cent bins or 50% off bins. So it's roughly $2 what you're paying for the book. So I think it's even less than that. I think it was like $3 and it was $1.50 book. I'm like, well, Jeff, I got to take advantage of you if you're going to put this book in there since you didn't do your due diligence. And we got the book. So I picked up a mint copy. I mean, this is just like near mint. Near mint copy of Superman 680. Alex, again, we're talking about like greatest Superman covers. This is just probably one of the greatest crypto covers um, around. Yeah. Right. I have 3 of these. So I had one that I picked up back on the East Coast before the whole crypto news. So I got that one for like $2 or something ridiculous as well. I think it was like a dollar bin book. So I picked up that dollar bin book and then it spiked. It became like a $40 book overnight. And I was feeling pretty good about myself. And then this summer, I didn't figure I would get this book at that price ever again. But lo and behold, Jeff had it in his back issues for like, again, $3, half off, so $1.50. And I just bought it. So we got this for $1.50. And then, again, a couple weeks later, I go back and I'm still searching Superman. And lo and behold, Jeff has another copy in there. The same price, $3, 50% off. And I mean, I, if he continues to do this, I mean, I don't have money now to buy comics, but next time I go there and if I find this book again, I'm buying it again for $1.50. I mean, if he continues to want to like put this really popular book out um, for literally like $1, I will continue to take advantage of that. So we just got another copy, $1.50 this summer. So we picked up 2. I have 3 of these books, all near mint, that we paid maybe a total of $5 for. And they're like, again, $40 books. In this condition, if you grade them and they come 9/8, easily $100 book. Probably more than that. So yeah, I mean, I should probably sell these, right? But I'll trade for them. Send me an offer if you guys want to buy or um, I feel like a trade would be better. If you guys want to trade for a crypto book, send me a direct message and let me know what you have. I want Superman for Superman. I want Superman books for this. But I'm definitely willing to trade those. I don't need 3 copies. I don't even need 2 copies of this one. Again, they're books I like, so just have multiple copies of them. I need to stop doing that though, because there's just no. I mean, I get that I can. I know I did it for this one because this is going to be, I think, not that it's going to be $100 book or anything like that, but it's a $40 book now. Really does have legs to continue to sell there or maybe even higher. Because I feel like crypto is just now part of the narrative. He's always kind of been there in the comic books, but now on a mass market level. Because when you had, what's a great example? It's kind of like when Batman fights Bane in the last segment uh, of the Batman trilogy. We're talking about the Christopher Nolan trilogy. When Nolan brought in Bane as the bad guy, and they have that epic battle, and they have that whole history of where he's kind of helped, you know, Ra's al Ghul's daughter escape this prison and all that. Um, Bane became, because that was such a great performance, but Bane becomes like a kind of terrifying character, and now like most people know Bane, and they have that image of Bane um, as part of the Batman lore. Well, the fact that crypto was just so popular in the movie this summer, I just feel like there's no going back. There's no going back to like a Superman without crypto, because you had that. You never had crypto in like Smallville. You never had crypto in the original Reeves films. Um, he was obviously not a part of the Snyder films, right? So this is really our first introduction. No, I shouldn't say first, because they've had a Super Pets animated series that they launched. So it's technically the second sort of appearance of crypto um, in movies and TV and film. And but there's no going back now. It's like you've opened up the Pandora box, and now crypto is Superman's dog and will always be for generations to come, because it's just one of those things like once you associate uh, certain characters with your protagonist, it's yeah, it's just part of the story now, part of the narrative. And so yeah, I think this book is just a nice book that everybody wants to have in their collection. So again, I have 2 copies. Send me some trade offers. They can be yours. All right. Well, it's been an exciting night. Yeah, one of the greatest crypto covers. I agree. And it's just it's just a great piece of art, right? Because you have crypto in the comic books, but he's always drawn to like this like very comical, almost funny. He's not really like a he's not portrayed as like a fierce dog or even like a dog. He's kind of portrayed as this like cartoonish dog, right? It's like a white dog. I don't know if you could even associate a breed with him in the comic books, right? He's just this white dog, generic looking dog, um, with a cape. Kind of looks ridiculous. But, this rendering, I mean, that's like a pit bull. And it's like one of those like jacked up pit bulls, like it's got like musculature of a very fit and fierce dog. And then you got the collar with the S and like the K. I mean, it's crypto. I mean, it's like you're gonna cast crypto. You want to cast him as that kind of like pit bull like dog, right? Pit bull like dog, but like kind of more kind of like a lab mix in there as well, like a lab pit mix or something. That's you'd want in like if you just wanted a cool ass dog, that's kind of what you'd want, right? Like a pit lab mix with good good like bone structure, I guess. I don't know. I'm getting too deep on the dog aesthetics here, but yeah, that's a good looking dog right there. So yeah, do you remember when he showed up post burn era as Bilbo's rescue dog, and he couldn't afford? Yeah, that was pretty funny, right? Bilbo's rescue dog. Um, Bilbo's another character. I don't know if we got teased Bilbo, but um, you know, that's another character that I hope they weave in. I think didn't they tease him in the Superman movie though? Like he has some kind of cameo or something somewhere. Am I way off based on that one? But that would be another character that um, would make sense, right? Because he's just again, you talk about like a Superman family. It just feels like Bilbo's such a big part of you know that whole Daily Planet Metropolis community of characters that they've had there, the reoccurring ones at least. That would be good. Um, all right, well, I've been kind of doing the show just on a weekly basis. I haven't, I don't have any real hauls to show off. Nothing to update really. I haven't picked up anything worth, you know, updating you on. Um, so it's just been rather slow from a comic book hobby perspective. But I am enjoying doing this show weekly, but I realize I'm not completely 100% satisfied with this phone view and the live stream from the phone and all that. I do want to get a laptop computer at some point and go back to my old setup. But, you know, with the budget being tight as it always is, who knows when we're going to get around to getting a computer. Right now, we're focused on PC is not as important, but as my son, who's in kindergarten right now, but as my son kind of um, starts to advance academically, we do need to get him a really nice computer, right, to just support his uh, academics and learning and development and all that. So we'll probably at that point look into getting him a nice desktop computer and then maybe get myself uh, not an expensive laptop, but something serviceable, right? Something maybe not top of the end or early in the life cycle, but more mid life cycle that can maybe we can stretch out and just use till he's graduated or something. But we'll see. Just not really focused on getting any new hardware right now. I do want to though. If we do get him a computer, I do also want to like start having a better kind of home entertainment system because we don't have a television or anything right now, but um, some thing where we can like at the end of the week kind of as a family watch movies and just kind of have a family movie night kind of thing at home, with like DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever, but just have it being a nice home theater type experience as well. So at that point, I figure we can just start like digitizing, I don't know, maybe getting like files of movies and creating a library of digital files for movies and maybe get something like, I don't know, get like a big hard drive or like a server or something that can hold all the content. But anyway, lots of stuff to think about there. I just and build obviously. There's going to be a lot of things we need to buy and to help set that up. But I do have a DVD player here, so when we get the TV, we'll have at least those two components set up. But something more, I think, PC media related type setup would help as well. So again, we'll just cross that bridge when we get there. But those are the kinds of things that we don't have currently right now. But when and if and when we do decide that's something we want to have in the house, we'll have to do some research on that. Yeah, yeah. Right now, it's been a challenge to watch baseball and all that. I went out with coworkers to watch the Mariners game yesterday, but today, again, we watched the Dodgers game through Amazon Prime, my wife's Amazon Prime account. Uh, but we didn't have access to the Mariners game, so I was listening to the Mariners game on ESPN radio. Um, so yeah, a lot of the games are like just kind of like audio live as it's happening type events, and then again, the Dodgers and World Series, I'm sure will be on Amazon Prime, so hopefully we get full access to that. But should be a fun series to watch. And yeah, we'll be back here next Friday with some kind of update on what's going on. But hope you guys are enjoying baseball. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Get some books, and yeah, send me some trade offers for the crypto books if you want. But we'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Otaku out.